Hey, what's up guys, Rev here. So over the past couple of weeks, we've spent a lot of time on this channel talking about localizer related drama, where localizers of anime and manga are being criticized by fans for their long history of mistranslations, and what makes this whole situation worse is a lot of the localizers being criticized are mocking fans and brushing off the criticism and acting like they did nothing wrong. Now today, I have a hilarious set of updates I'm very happy to share with you, and a lot of the focus throughout this whole thing has been on this particular localization of Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid. I'm sure you guys have seen this localization many times now. It contains that infamous patriarchy line that everyone hates. And in the past couple of weeks, we've seen the localizer and voice actor responsible for delivering that line, Jamie Marchi, alongside other members of the related industries, mocking the fans that are criticizing that line and other bad localizations. And in tweets like this, almost taunting people to go out and find more examples of their bad localizations. And as they say, careful what you wish for, because that's exactly what people are doing. We're going to look at two different situations where people are revisiting and even recreating some of these dubs that we've been talking about. The first situation is going to involve a fan translator who actually speaks Japanese, unlike these localizers, who decided to revisit that infamous episode of Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid, the localization dub by Funimation. And of course, it probably comes as no surprise, they found a litany of inconsistencies and mistranslations contained throughout the rest of that episode. But we're going to start with this situation right here. So a user decided to upload a YouTube video where they used AI to not only correct the infamous patriarchy line in the localization, but they even used Jamie's voice to do so, and afterwards used their own voice to mock themselves, showing how AI can actually make a more proper translation than these localizers. Yes, the person who uploaded this was certainly cooking, and speaking of cooking, let's hear from today's sponsor. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, the Giga Chads over at Factor have returned to sponsor this video. Get 50% off your first Factor box and free wellness shots for life using my link. That means you can choose 2 free wellness shots from 3 available flavors for every order while you're an active subscriber. Click the link in the description or scan the QR code with your phone. Now, what is Factor? It is a trusted, pre-made meal delivery service that features a large category of meal options for you to enjoy without the hassle of having to waste time cooking. Look, you're busy. You have the latest seasonal waifus to simp over, the latest Rev banger to watch, and so on and so forth. You don't have time to go to the grocery store or to cook. Factor offers convenience, delicious pre-made meals that are ready to eat after only a few minutes in the microwave. I love Factor because they offer not only delicious meals, but also high protein and diet conscious meal options for people like me who want to maximize their gains at the gym. It's a new year, so why not start it off the right way by giving yourself delicious and nutritious meals that will support whatever journey you are on. If you want to give Factor a try, go to the link in the pinned comment to get 50% off your first box and free wellness shots for life. Thanks again to Factor for sponsoring this video. Now let's jump back into the content. Welcome back. So now we're going to check out this YouTube video I mentioned earlier. It is a video where they use AI to essentially redub that infamous localization of Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid. And as you'll see, it is seamless. Let's give it a listen.
It's just that I want it to be more special than average. And she made it clear she didn't want any of my tail.
Also, one's in the chat if Taru is your waifu.
Hey. Oh, hi!
Here it is,
what
boys.
What are you doing here, Lukawa?
To see you and bring these. Want some snacks?
Duh, thank you. What's with that outfit?
Oh, everyone was always saying something to me, so I tried toning it down for exposure. How is it?
You should try changing your body next. You can come on in if you want.
Okay, I think I will. Thank you.
Yeah, AI is getting scary good because that sounded just like Jamie Marchi, and it was a more faithful adaptation of the original Japanese dialogue, and it was syllable for syllable. Was it choppy at all? No, it fit in perfectly and was more faithful to the source material. You basically get what you ask for when you're these localizers who are vandalizing these products and then challenging people to either fix them or spot more. And this is the results, and I don't feel sorry for anyone who is involved with this situation getting their voice replaced by AI. It's just a clever use of what's available by users like this, and let's see some further use of this technology.
It's no wonder those annoying voice actors are upset.
They're all so arrogant and annoying.
Nah, just the Western ones.
The first funny thing Jamie Marchi has ever said, ladies and gentlemen. But yeah, it's scary good, and this video is hilarious. And of course, if you want to go give it a like and support it, I will provide a link in the description to it. But yeah, that's kind of the sentiment right now, the fact that it's so easy to replace these voice actors and localizers with AI. And again, it's not the ideal solution to this. No one thinks AI is the best way to translate these things. But it's honestly a situation where people just don't feel sorry for the localizers because they have been taunting users and taking advantage of the fact that they're a trusted translator for a long time, and nobody feels sorry if people are using AI to correct their mistakes. So throughout the past couple of weeks, people like Jamie have tried to minimize the criticism of these localizations to one line, in particular, the patriarchy line, okay? She says in many tweets that these people are delusional and throwing a fit and making a bigger deal than what it actually is. What they're trying to do is minimize everything to distract you from the fact that localization issues and bad translations is much bigger. We have seen countless examples on this channel, and it probably doesn't surprise people that if you look harder at Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid, the patriarchy line isn't the only mistranslation. And we saw this localizer supporter recently try to also minimize everything just to one line, and that these fans are all angry about nothing, and it didn't ruin the integrity of the show. Now, I covered the hilarious hypocrisy of that user in this video. If you want to check it out, it's actually quite hilarious how much of a hypocrite they are. But this would lead to an unwanted result. So this user trying to minimize everything to one line would essentially challenge people like this. Here is a fan translator who speaks Japanese, unlike these localizers, who quoted them saying, "This tweet is why I'm currently rewatching it with dual audio," which is a very interesting point of comparison because not only can this user listen to the original Japanese dialogue, they can then compare that to the English subtitles and then compare that to the English dub and the localization from Funimation that we've been talking about. It's basically like a game of, what do you call it? It was like telephone. Was that what it was called when we were kids? Where basically you have the first person in line whisper a message into the ear of the next person, and it keeps going down the line until you reach the end of the line, and then you compare the message of the first person versus the last person to see how much it changed at each layer. And that's kind of what we're doing here. So here's a good example of that. So in the Japanese dialogue, we have something along the lines of, "Why are they always big?" referring to Lukua's breasts. And then in the subtitles, the English subtitles, it says, "Why are dragons also big?" Now there's a small difference there. It's nothing crazy, but it's definitely worth pointing out that there is a little bit of a, I don't want to say censored, but a little toned down question that Kobayashi is asking, but the dub takes full liberty. Okay, so it says, "I'm going to assume all dragons look this unrealistic," inserting this sort of body standard into the dub's dialogue, which is definitely not what was happening in the original Japanese dialogue and not even in the subtitles. So this is a completely different spin and a much more, you can definitely tell, like when we're talking about localizations, we're talking about things like patriarchy. Now we're talking about unrealistic body standards, especially when we're referring to, well, something that's not even human. So it's just very confusing. But here's another example where Kobayashi says, "Did you walk here dressed like that?" referring to her revealing clothing. And Lukua says, "Yeah, why?" Where Kobayashi responds in the subtitle version by saying, "It makes you look like an exhibitionist," where curiously, in the Japanese dialogue, they use the term nympho, which is, a little bit different, but nothing shocking, but it's worth pointing out. However, the dub goes a completely different direction, saying, "Doesn't really leave a whole lot to the imagination, does it?" Which is definitely a different feel than the other two versions that are mentioned. So in the subtitled and original Japanese dialogue, this seems much more like a criticism of her outfit or something that is meant to be a little more aggressive. But in the dub, it seems a lot more positive, doesn't it? The tone of this language seems a lot more positive towards her revealing clothing. Here's another example where Kana is saying, "You four-eyed slut" in the subtitles, and the dub says, "You slut in glasses," which okay, I guess, a little bit of a change, but doesn't change too much. But it's this response where Kobayashi says in the subtitle version, now that's not nice, before she's cut off. In the dub, it says, don't slut shame me. Again, when you're talking about patriarchy and now body standards and now slut shaming, this is starting to paint a picture, a message of what these localizers are trying to bring forward. And I think it's very obvious what they're trying to shoot for and the kind of message they're bringing to the table that wasn't present in the original Japanese dialogue. Here's another example of the sub where it says, she's just like those foreigners pretending to be ninja or samurai. In the dub, it says, it's cultural appropriation, but without any culture. Saying something that is somewhat similar, but saying it in a very politicized way that was not present in the original subtitle version. Here's another one saying in the sub, you know I'm a woman, right? But in the dub, it says, I'm not into women or dragons. That one is just confusing. It's just completely unnecessary, and it just makes the dialogue kind of choppy and weird. And why do you need to specify the whole dragon thing? Again, they're trying to create this standard in here. They're implying that the original subtitled left no option for women to like other women, when it's just kind of implied that she doesn't like other women in this one. But this one, they have to make it very clear that it was her preference. Just awkward and forced. And, you know, I want to pause here for a second. We just went through multiple examples, by the way, from only a few frames, okay? Not like a full deep dive of the whole series. I'm sure there's a ton more, and if there is, we might go over it in another video. But let's remind ourselves where we came from. This whole situation was the result of people having a conversation about AI potentially replacing localizers of anime and manga. And it spun into something completely different. Now you have people actively pursuing options with AI because they are so fed up with the attitude of these localizers. And these localizers have challenged enough people to go out there and find more mistakes that people are doing just that. People who can actually speak Japanese are identifying the long list of mistranslations these localizers have been providing for these Japanese products. And you know what? It's only making them look worse. And again, nobody thinks AI is the ideal solution to translating things, okay? People want honest translations from humans. However, again, nobody is going to feel sorry for these localizers when they're being replaced by AI, when this is exactly what they're asking for with their behavior and their mistranslations. But that's going to do it for this video. I know it's a little bit of a long one, so I appreciate you guys hanging in there and listening. And as always, feel free to share all of your thoughts about today's topics in the comment section down below. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you next time.